professor. I'm bone tired of people like faux Native American Ward Churchill and faux civil rights leader Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton beat the racism drum and lecture this country on how bigoted we Americans are. This is not a partisan issue for me. My disgust is not with the Democrats or the Republicans or the independents. I swear, if you stripped all of the politicians in this country naked and whipped them through the streets, you'd be hard-pressed to tell one from the other. I'm tired of hearing governors like Mark Sanford and Eliot Spitzer preach ethics and morality to me. I don't care how many women they've been with outside their marriages. I'm tired of Congressman Barney Frank's boyfriend being allowed to run a homosexual prostitution ring out of Frank's own basement. I'm sick to my stomach of Governor Rod Blagojevich selling Senate seats for his own profit. I'm fed up with Dan Rostenkowski and Ted Stevens and the other lying, cheating, stealing, unpatriotic politicians telling me how to run my life when they can't even run their own lives and their marriages and their financial affairs successfully. And I'm tired down in my soul of them getting away with it time after time while they claim ignorance or that it's none of our business. I don't want to be told that it's just about sex or private personal behavior or what the meaning of is. We know what is means, and so do the politicians. Words have meaning, even theirs. I dread seeing the lights of Senators John Murtha and John Kerry and Harry Reid on television lying to our faces, laughing at us behind our backs, and preaching to us about how we need to be more understanding while they call our troops terrorists and then accuse those same troops of kicking in doors in the dead of night and killing innocent women and children. Those are the very troops that are keeping us and the politicians safe. I'm disgusted with the likes of Congressman William Jefferson being caught by the FBI with $90,000 or $100,000 of marked money in his home freezer, and nothing is done about it. Am I alone in my frustration with Secretary Tim Geithner, Congressman Charlie Rangel, former Senator Tom Daschle, and more politicians than I can name being placed in and kept in positions of power and trust for our taxes while they lie and cheat on their own? Does anyone else wonder where all the promised transparency of this new administration went? What happened to slow down and post bills on the internet for 5 days and the new openness that was supposed to be ushered in by this new kind of president? For goodness sakes, they won't even tell us who visits the White House. That's our White House. The politicians don't own the White House. We do. We pay through our taxes every penny it takes to run and maintain that building. And still, they refuse to tell us something as basic as who visits. They refuse. They can't refuse unless we, the electorate, allow them to do so. I don't know quite what to think of a president who takes his wife on date night for an originally reported $75,000, but which has now been estimated to have cost in excess of $225,000. How many citizens in the state of Kentucky even make $75,000 in a year, let alone get to keep that much money to spend on a single date? I've heard that that money explained away by saying that the office of the president has its own discretionary funds, and that's where the money came from. No, it isn't. The government has no money. The office of the president has no money. The office of the president and the government at large takes our money, and it's never enough. What in the world is going on? Terrorists are being read their Miranda rights. Inspectors general are being fired for daring to look into the spending of tax dollars by a buddy of the president. Why are private citizens being demonized for asking the president a question? Remember Joe the plumber? Words do have meaning. When questions are asked and the answer is evasion and dodging and outright lies, then those must be exposed to the light of the day. The words politicians say and what they don't say have meaning. And why are we allowing the politicians to institute this cap and trade business? Why in the world are we standing by and letting this go on? Then candidate Obama told us straight out that, quote, if my policies on cap and trade become law, utility prices will necessarily skyrocket. Think about that word skyrocket. Not go up a bit. Not a possible increase in electric rates. No, he told us utility prices will necessarily skyrocket. And why? Because that's the goal of cap and trade. Make utilities so expensive that we can't afford to comfortably heat and cool our homes, and turn on the lights, and run our refrigerators, and listen to the radio, and wash our clothes. Make things so expensive that when we can no longer afford them, their usage will decline, and thus any real or imagined pollution resulting from that decreased usage will also decline. Another case of the ends justifies the means, all on the backs of everyday American workers, people just like you and like me. Why like us? Because we have jobs and we go to work every day. And when we went to Frankfurt on a Saturday, it was because we do have jobs that we have to go to. That was the only day most of us could go. We go to work and we pay our taxes. And the available jobs keep going down, while those taxes just keep going up and up, along with gasoline and utility and the cost for all goods and services. And our politicians don't seem to be aware that we're aware. And if they are, they simply do not care. The politicians' favorite phrase seems to be, let's move on. It's time to put this behind us for the sake of the country. Well, I say no. Let's stop and think about what we're doing and why we're doing it. Have you ever tried to call your state or federal senator or representative? Were you able to get through? Did you actually speak to that representative? Probably not. You probably got one of an army of aides hired with our money to keep people like you and me from bothering the senator or the representative, and thus keeping them from doing the work of the people. However, if we were big enough campaign contributors, you can bet we'd be put straight through. Hey, senators. Hey, representatives. We are the people. Answer your damn telephone. You work for us. Stop sending those insipid form letters with the fake signature at the bottom, assuring me that you're looking into all aspects of whatever issue you're being asked about. Just once, answer my questions honestly. Just once, think about something other than how you're going to get reelected. Just once, think about why we, the electorate, sent you, the elected, to represent us. Just once, let your words have meaning. And don't try to tell us that universal health care is an imperative. Do you think we're unaware that hospitals cannot turn anyone away? Do you think we're unaware that as soon as someone goes on public assistance, one of the first things they get is a health card? Free, no deductible, no copay?